back to another edition. I always do this little welcome back thing with my hands. Anyway, welcome back to another edition of the NoStoppingKev Show. I'm Lil Kev and this is Big Kev, and we're back. Episode 3. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Glad to be back. Wait all week for this.
Yeah, I know. I was looking forward to it. We were on a bit of a different recording schedule this week, but nonetheless, we're here.
Yeah.
So, today we're going to talk a little bit of basketball. Oh, wait, I got to back up. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
That was for everybody out there, but now it's your turn. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, though. Thank you anyway.
Love you.
Yeah, love you, too.
Been a long road, a long 24 years of fatherhood for you.
Yeah.
And then you added some extra years with some extra youngins. So. But yeah, so happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I know for me personally, this is a feeling that I've been feeling probably like the last couple years or so, but when I see, and especially like younger black guys, like with their kids,
Right.
always feels good. Like even just carrying them across the street, like just being present means a lot. So today we're going to talk a little bit about fatherhood, but before that I kind of want to talk some basketball. That's good with you?
Good with me. Good with me.
So, felt like it was a pretty big week with the NBA Finals, but I guess backing up before, that Game 6 in Golden State, going back to Game 5 when KD went down. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see when KD went down.
You know how I feel about KD, right?
Well, I probably feel almost like the same way that you do feel. KD, I feel the same way that you probably feel about KD, though.
So for y'all that don't know, I'm a huge Westbrook fan. Fittingly so, I got my OKC sweatpants on in the studio today. But, when he left to go to Golden State, it hurt for many reasons. One, he left after they blew a 3-1 lead in the conference finals. The conference finals against Golden State. It could have easily been OKC, Cleveland in the finals, but OKC blew that 3-1 lead. And to me, I don't really care about how they lost it. It was my issue with Durant is that he went to the team that he blew the lead to. Like, if I'm at the schoolyard and somebody run me off the court, I'm not going to be like, abandon my squad and just be like, yo, can I run with y'all? Y'all need one? Because as a competitor, like, I don't know, I just want to feel right doing that. So that's been my big bone to pick with KD, but I bring that up just because I actually felt really bad for him when he went down this week.
Well, like I said, I'm not a big KD fan. One thing is, like, I don't believe that you be at that standard and run to another team to win a championship. I think that, like Michael Jordan never ran from Chicago. Kobe Bryant never left Los Angeles. Isaiah Thompson never left Detroit. They stayed till some pieces got in place to win it. KD went and played. He ran to a championship team. They already had won a championship with them. So now it just made things, to me, like easier for him.
Yeah, and like my problem with, so I think it's a little bit different than some of the other guys you named, but when I'm having this conversation with people, they're always like, well, what you think he should have done? And for me, I'm like, he could have gone anywhere else but Golden State. You went to a team that was already a super team to make it even more of a super team. Like, that's just an easy road. And then everybody's like, the pressure's on KD. I'm like, how? Like it's too easy to win on it. If they already were winning, if that team was already had a 72-win season, you go in there as arguably the first or second best player in the world. Him and LeBron were always up for debate. It's like you go in there with pressure. It's no pressure playing. The game is easy. It's you, Clay, and Steph. It's easy. So I just felt like it was a cowardly move. But when he went down, I immediately had to say a prayer for him, just because I felt like it was Achilles to begin with. Like, even when he first got hurt and he said it was a calf. Just because I remember Shaq sharing about when he, ruptured his Achilles. And he said he has, it felt like someone kicked me in the back of the foot. But I look back, and you can look at the tape. He was like, when I look back, nobody was there. And I was like, ooh. And then you watch the tape of KD, and he did the same thing.
Yeah.
And so when he went down, I kind of knew. And then he grabbed at it, and I was like, I think he tore that thing.
Yeah, I can't say that. You don't want to see nobody get hurt.
Exactly.
You know, you don't. Even your worst enemy, you don't want to see him get hurt. You know, and KD, like when we always talk about, he is one of the best players. He has always been, like, I guess, one of them. But like I just like say, like, when you leave, like, I know when I was coming up, and I remember coming up, and the older guys in the schoolyard, Landers, where I grew up playing behind, and like some of them guys told me, like, a lot of players was from South Philly, but they said they all went different places because they didn't want to have a team where they would just win it all. They wanted to play against one another and be better that way. You know, some people went to Overbrook, some people went to West Philly, some went to Ben Franklin. They all could have been right in South Philly, and South Philly High, and they would have been champions for who knows how many years, just like West Philly was champion. But West Philly was made up of South Philadelphia ball players.
They all just decided to go there and team up?
Well, some of them, you know what, they was a good school, and they did, but see, it's different in time, and I guess it's the same way in NBA. Like, it changes. So now people try to play on the same team, or they try to go to teams that got stars already. Some people went to, back in the day, they didn't go to a team with a star. They went and made that school better. You know, you try to make it better, you know.
Yeah, that's how I kind of was brought up, fittingly so, right? From you, just, you know, kind of going there and making it your thing. But, you know, now we do see people teaming up, but I guess the pushback to that is, teams always, like, no one ever just won it by themselves. Like, they always had help. I think the difference here is kind of how help comes, right? It's like either you let it, you know, through either trades or free agent signings, or not even just free. I think it's just the level, the tiers of players teaming up. Like, I was talking to someone today, but it might have been when I was on the phone with you, just talking about how everybody being healthy on Golden State, right? They basically got 3 guys that can run a team by themselves. KD, Steph, and Boogie, right? They all can be a superstar on their own respective team. But now you got them 3 together. You throw Clay in there, who Clay wouldn't be a superstar if he's on a team by himself. He'd have more of that role player glue guy that can go off and kill you for 40 because he's great. But it's just when you start pairing people up that way, that's when I don't really like it. It's kind of like a cop-out. But I'll give Boogie a pass because he said Golden State was the only people that came knocking at that time.
Well, I think Golden State, well, to win championships, I think that you got to have chemistry. You don't have to have, like, you know what, look at them on paper, look at Golden State on paper, and look at Toronto on paper.
Yeah. You would pick Golden State. I thought I was wrong about the whole playoffs. I thought Golden State was going to win 4-1.
You know, like a lot of times, like, you know, you just look at it, but it takes a team to win. And then, you know, it takes that chemistry, that just like in life, it's chemistry. Like, you know, when you talk about, like, a father being a father, just like, you know, kids need their father in their life, that chemistry, you got to have that chemistry with your kids and stuff like that. You got to be there. You know, that's like another team. You know, but the only thing, like I said, like, Toronto, ain't no way I thought Toronto would beat No, I wanted them to beat Golden State. But if you look at it on paper, no way. But then, like I said, like, you know,
KD goes down.
But you know what? For real, my opinion, like, and probably nobody agree with me, and most people won't. I think they was better without KD. I mean, you gonna say KD gonna give you the point, but you know what? I think that took away from Green. I think, you know, it stopped him from doing what he do, son. You know, like when Kevin Durant went down, they were doing good in the Western Conference Final. I mean, you know, Western Conference Final, not the NBA Final. You know, because he got to play more and got to play his game. It didn't take away. Like, Kevin Durant is a star, but he can take away from some people sometimes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Seth Curry said it best. He said they're not a better team, they're a different team. just because there's a lot more movement. It's a little bit different to guard, where I think when they have KD, having a guy of that caliber, like that's a huge weapon Golden State has out on the floor. And so it's like, who do you focus on, right? You got Steph and Clay moving off the ball, who you got to stay glued to at the hip. So they're making you switch, they're making you double in certain instances. And then if KD has the ball, you got to have someone who can potentially slow him down one-on-one. It's hard to stop him, so I'm not going to say stop him, but slow him down one-on-one. But even then, he's drawing double teams at times. So you really can't, you got to stay home on just about everybody except the other two guys out there. And depending on who they got on the floor, it might be a fourth guy who can kill you from mid-range or three. Then they have all those little slip actions too, which I like. So they're just a tough team to kind of guard no matter who's playing on any given night.
But you know, that's when, like I remember watching, I think last year when they were playing Cleveland last year. When they went to Kevin Durant as their primary person every time, it took other people out of flow. When the ball, when you say, when the ball going to Steph, when the ball going to Clay, when that moving, they got nobody to really key on. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like when we say this, when we say Kevin Durant, when you go back to saying they was up 3-1 and lost, you know, you don't really see that. Like if you that star player, like I mean, like it happened, but like was that the first time that ever happened? Like somebody came back from 3-1 and won the championship.
The conference final, or are you talking about when
when
LeBron did it?
When LeBron came back on that?
I think so.
So like what I'm saying, like a lot of time when Steph get the ball, when you moving that ball, and you know what, and they moving that ball around, you know, you can't key on nobody. But if you come down every time to Kevin Durant, and if he's not coming through, he didn't come through in OKC when they were taking the ball to him all the time.
Him and Westbrook struggled.
Right. But you know, like what I'm saying, when most of the time, like when Mike was there, when Mike played, we know Mike is Michael Jordan. When we know, I shouldn't even mention nobody else like really in the category with him. You know, when it comes to that. But I mean, even Kobe, like you know that these people is gonna do what they have to do. And Leonard, just like in this championship, like I was telling people, you know, like he was like, I don't know, like I don't even know what words to say about him. The way that he was poised, he was everything, and he kept going, and he didn't let nobody run him off the ball, make anybody stop him from doing.
He's a champion.
Yeah, but you know what? He kept going. He kept taking it to him. Kevin Durant, them at times, if you ever see, stopped taking it to him, and Leonard didn't have the help or the supporting cast that Durant got. So, I mean, that shows so much more, the depth that he has. And what he has, and like, you know, to say, like, for him to do that. You know, just for him to do that. You know, sometimes, like, when I look back at L.A., like, people always say about other people, but Kobe was the one that could open that up. When I'm not talking about what Shaq is, because we know with him and Shaq, what, you know, that's different. I'm talking about when he wanted more with chemistry, with role players. You know, like that's what I look at Toronto. Toronto really won this with role players. Mm-hmm. Golden State got stars. They got stars.
Yeah, I think, and shout out to Toronto, Nick Nurse, rookie head coach, phenomenal. Right. Kawhi just coming here 1 year, maybe one and done. We'll see. To win it, but shout out to Kyle Lowry, Philly guy, bringing a ring to the city because our Sixers couldn't do it. That's another story. But yeah, I think that, you know, and we were talking about this on the way over here, just the fact that even though they battle injuries during the regular season, they still had that chemistry in the postseason to get through some tough series. Like that Philadelphia series for them was tough, in my opinion. Milwaukee, I think they pretty much handled Milwaukee. But, you know, I think going into the finals, I know I personally thought they were going to get swept by Golden State. I was like, all right, they might win one, right? And that's me assuming, you know, KD will be back, healthy, playing. But I did not see, as much as I wanted Toronto to win, I didn't think it was actually going to happen. So it's just great to see that they were able to pull through and really get production from a lot of different places. Van Fleet, Siakam, who I got to see as a rookie, and I was like, yo, he's gonna be good, but he still has some growing to do because when KD was checking him, it was a little rough.
Well, like you always gotta say, you gotta see how people match up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can look good against somebody else, but somebody else can match up well against you. So, to me, I wanted Toronto. I didn't want Golden State to win. So, but I needed to see how Toronto matched up against them and how they played against them. But looking at it, like, I always figured that they could match up pretty good against them.
They got guys that can move, they got length, the bigs. I think the key to when you're playing Golden State is how mobile are your bigs.
Right,
so the Sixers would have some success because Joel can move pretty well. Even when Cleveland was battling them and they would get Tristan Thompson out on the perimeter, he had enough length and he was able to move his feet just enough to still kind of alter some shots even if he got shook. So I think Toronto had that with Siakam and Ibaka can move. And they also can protect the rim. So I think that definitely helped them a lot, but it was a good series, man.
And another thing, they might have been hungrier because Golden State done won something.
Yeah,
so now your head could be a little swollen and you can think some things and not go out there as aggressive as you was. And now what Toronto really had nothing to lose because they was written off in the beginning.
And they had to make sure they cashed that check that Drake was writing with his mouth. So, and then I'm glad they won too because the part owner that shoved Lowry that one game, I was happy they won for that because that's just something you don't like to see because if players retaliate, the penalty they're going to have to face, it's going to be a lot steeper and have a lot of greater effect than a billionaire sitting in the front row. And a big part of me didn't like that. And this is something I really want the NBA to address. And we've talked about this and we kind of have different views on different situations. But just how, the level of respect from the fans could be a little bit better at times. And as a fan, your job kind of is the heckle. But I think that, to an extent, there should be boundaries, right? If I'm a grown man in the stands, I'm not going to be saying anything about your wife and kids. Because that's just, it's just classless. Now, as a player, I do think you should try to block it out. But if you say something back to the fan, I'm not going to be mad, right? But when fans when it becomes physical, like the dude shoving Lowry a couple years ago when after the Thunder lost, a dude ran up in Westbrook's face and yelled in his face. Don't do that if you're not going to do that when we're out on the street.
Well, yeah, I don't think fans should be getting up in anybody's face. I don't think that they should be able to come on the court. I don't think that off the court like that. But I think as the game going on, some fans just does stuff like that. They just want to talk. But you gotta stay focused in your mind in the game. And I don't know. I just know from when I played and when I played, I remember when I was in college, when I walked in the gym, what some people would say to me and stuff like that. But once I got on the court, that's blocked out. I'm going up and down the court. So ain't nothing that you could say once I'm into the game gonna bother me.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing.
I used to actually playing on the road more. One, because at home especially in high school, you're trying to impress your friends, right? You want to do well because or else they might let you hear. But on the road, I always got a little fuel out of people in the crowd trying to heckle me. Little head, this and that, or, because I always like that feeling when, they're talking smack, then you drain that three or something, you can just look in the crowd, do that slow turn, stare them down, and then go back down out there. I always love those moments. But I listened to Gilbert Arenas' podcast, the No Chill podcast. I recommend it. But he was talking about that today. He was basically talking about, in regards to the Lowry incident, as a fan, their job is to throw the opposing team off their game, right? They're there to be saying things, and he was saying how he recalled a situation where someone in the crowd called him the N-word, right? And he was like, I knew he wanted me to get mad, so I couldn't get mad. Gilbert is also a little bit different on certain things, but He's like, one, I know the guy isn't really a racist because one, the NBA is 90% like African American, right? So you come in here and get entertainment, but I will push back on that and say, like even in like going back to slave times, right? Like we were being used for like utility purposes, right? They were getting something out of it. So I could push back on Gil with that there, but he was like also the dude that said it to him had on a Paul Pierce jersey. But he's like, you don't actually hate black people like that because you clearly paid money to wear a black man's name across your back. But yeah, I think that's something that, you know, I kind of don't disagree with you on that.
But you know, they come there to have a good time.
Yeah, and
you know, some people sometimes, you know, get caught up in moments just like us. Like, I mean, like, growing up and coming up in the street, like, you know what, some of your own friends call you names or might call you something. Do you get upset and fight them all the time?
No, you learn to roll with it, kind of, you know, shut them up different ways. And I think you just have that expectation that, you know, there's going to be different people with different levels of manners, respect, decency. And some people are going to, you know, maybe push borders a little bit. But I guess that's kind of what you know, you're getting into when you're going into an arena, and you know, guys are pounding back 4 and 5 beers on any given night.
But how much have you been playing? You done played high school, you played college, you play all these different leagues. It just don't start now.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That like that. So what really made you go off like that?
Certain triggers.
Yeah,
certain
you know. So like, I mean, like, I don't know, like. People say, like I remember when I was a freshman in college, and I remember somebody would tell me how this guy was a dirty player and all like this, and like, and the things that he used to say when I played against him and stuff like that, you know, they hit you with elbows, they do all kind of things to set you off. You know, sometimes a coach will put a person in a game to come in a game and talk to you and talk to you. I know some of the things I done said to people, you know, to take people off their game. So I mean, like, I just can't agree with somebody going off like that because, like, you know, I don't know the reason. I can only talk about me, you know, and what I see and what I learned and what I don't agree with. You know?
Yeah, and I think times are different, right? You know, over generations, things kind of change. So I remember when KG said something about Melo's wife.
Right. Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, well, they're on the court, anything kind of goes if that takes him off his game.
Right.
But now I look at it, and I'm like, knowing how people in the NBA kind of, there's more of a brotherhood than like we know of being on the outside. Like there's certain lines, but I also understand the other side of it of gamesmanship. So I guess you kind of got to use discretion depending on your relationships with guys and depending on what type of person you want to be known as.
You know, it's
I definitely like talking to people that.
You know, it's a guy that I remember when I was young, and I was playing at the Y, and me and this guy was we was like cool. Like I mean, far as I know, we was like real cool. And I remember him elbowing this guy, like he elbowed him real hard. I heard it. And he went to the dude and said, "I'm sorry, it was meant for him." And he was talking about it was meant for me. Like, and I was like, well, and I said something to the guy. He said, "No, when you step on this court, it's war." And this one of the guys that like still today, man. Like I mean, like he been like a good teacher, and he was somebody that was tough for me playing against and all like that. And like, you know, he taught me so much in the game by just playing against him. But he let me know I'm talking about 10, 11 years old.
Yeah,
like he let me know that like, oh no, when you're on the court, it's war. And I, you know, ain't no friend. So that's the way that is. Like, you know, I don't have a problem helping somebody up or something like that, but some people don't even want to go that far.
Yeah, I used to, unless, and this is my personal thing, and this could be the last thing before we take a break, but I know back when I was playing, it's a little bit different now that I'm older and I got to go to work the next day, and so do other people in my rec leagues. But like in high school, even college, and even going, I guess more so high school was when I did this mostly. But if like I fouled a guy or someone on our team fouled a guy, unless they got hit or fell down in a way where I thought like they could seriously have gotten hurt, I wasn't helping them up. Like, he's alright. And same thing for me. If you knock me down, I would never let the opposing team help me up. I wait for one of my guys, or if the opposing team over top of me, you know, sometimes they run up on you to help you up. I do a little rollover, and then I get up on my own, just be like, I don't need your help. And got a little calling. But that was just a personal thing of mine. Just like part of it was that I knew sometimes that ticks people off. Cause they feel disrespected, and so now they're already out their game. So now I got this guy mad. So now I'm gonna push even more buttons. And when they start messing with me, I know I got somebody like Earl that's gonna step in, have my back. So I was like, oh, we got him. He done messed up now. But yeah. So I think ready to take a break.
Good. Yes.
All right, we'll be back. Thank you for listening to the NoStoppingKev Show. Among our core values are growth and development. If you would like us to help you grow your brand and develop new relationships, reach out to us via email at nostoppingkev@gmail.com. We would love to partner with you. Now let's get back to the show. All right, we're back. So shifting gears now, just a little bit. Remember back when, I guess kind of along with the Father's Day theme, remember you were coaching me in the YMCA League?
Yeah, I remember.
Good times. Well, it actually didn't start out with you coaching me. Because remember you got in, did you join as a coach late? You started helping out with someone else's team, right? Yeah, the green team. You was helping out with the green team for a couple seasons. Because I was already on red, and I've been on red for a minute. So I just I had to stay there. They wouldn't let me jump ship. Especially because I was like the main guy on that team.
Yeah.
But my man Keenan, remember Keenan?
Yeah, I remember Keenan.
Yeah, left hand dude just light it up. It's like 10 just letting that thing fly from Steph Curry range. But I remember you got in that league, and the whole time I wanted to play for you. But one game that stood out in particular was the first time I played against you. When you was coaching.
Yeah.
It was probably the worst game I had in all my years playing in the Y. So how did that feel for you as a coach? I know how it felt for me. I was super frustrated that game. I felt like I couldn't do anything because I think you played a 1-3-1, which I had never seen before. So one, you took advantage because you knew what I've been through. You know I never saw a 1-3-1 zone before at that point. And so tell me how it felt to know you kind of shut your son down from the coaching box.
Well, you know what? I'm even going to just say this too. I never was going to make anything easy on you. Even when we would play one-on-one, I never was going to let you beat me.
Yeah, I had to beat you.
So when you're going to beat me, you had to beat me because you beat me. Not that I could say that I lightened up on you. And the same way, like if I wouldn't try to stop you, you was the man on that team, so why wouldn't I shut you down? Mm-hmm. It's all about getting a win,
Yeah. I think it was because I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, our teams were probably pretty evenly matched too, because you had two good guards and we had two good guards. You had Salil and Yusuf, so it was pretty evenly matched. It just came down to coaching at that point.
Yeah, it did come down to probably coaching. Coaching probably had something to do with it.
You had that.
On certain
you knew what to do.
level.
You knew if you were gonna beat us, I couldn't go off for 20. And it come from somewhere else, and that's what you did. Simple coaching 101. We're not gonna let that guy beat us. Someone else has to do it.
Right. And then sometimes some people say, well, let him get his, stop everybody else's. My philosophy is always let somebody else beat you, not the star.
Because I can live with that. If somebody else who never comes out there and scores more than 7 comes out there and gets 20, it's like, all right.
Yeah. Because, I'd rather put the ball in somebody's hands that's not used to making decisions than have the ball in somebody's hands that used to making decisions. So, just like if you run a company or something like that, you don't want to put the ball in somebody's hands that's not, to run your company. That ain't, you want your best person to really run your company. So that's like in the same way. So now, if I'm trying to do something, I want to take the ball out of the best person's hand.
Yeah, then you know what ended up happening in that league, right? You remember?
Yeah, they traded you to my team.
Yeah, and then what happened?
We won the championship.
We had one tough game, too.
That was
when we played Coach Lou's team.
Yeah.
Because he did the same thing you did. He threw that 1-3-1, and I was seeing a trap every time up the floor. and I'm pretty sure I can't remember we beat them. I know we won.
I think we still
the
won.
playoffs. I feel like we swept the playoffs though.
I don't know if we lost. I don't think we lost that game neither though. I don't think we lost that game. It was just one of our tougher games.
Yeah.
You know, and
we
probably
might have. I can't remember now. I know we won the championship because I got the trophies to prove it.
Yeah, I know. I remember us winning the championship.
That was the first time I experienced like going into a slump was in the playoffs. I had my Kyle Lowry moment because the first series, you know, I would score probably like 20. I probably was getting like 15, 20 a game in that league at least. And then in the playoffs, felt like I was getting like 6, 8, 10. Like I was struggling to get to 10. But I think one thing that happened over the course of that season, especially once I got there, I think guys got a lot more confident. So remember our role players like Nate and Tyler? Yeah. They started like knocking down 3, like it was insane, right? So those points really started coming from some other places, which was huge, and ultimately we won the championship. But I always think back to that because it was one of our good father-son basketball moments.
Well, see, like what you gotta always remember too, when more people start keying on you, that opens up more for somebody else. And that's where, like, sometimes I say, and I always tell you, as long as you still be aggressive and still play, now, like, it still opens up more. Like, when you said them players started coming through more, yeah, they started coming through more because people didn't
opportunities were easier.
And the pressure is not on them. You know, the pressure was all on you. So, as being a young ball player, now that's teaching you how to deal with pressure.
And I think that came in handy later on, especially when I got into like high school, and I think that probably really helped me become a leader.
Well, I'm gonna even tell you something else that helped you that. What about when you got the Bill Gates Millennium Award with the pressure what you had to do to get that?
Yeah.
See, like a lot of time, like one of my coaches, my college coach taught me, it's not all about basketball, it's about life. And what you do, like with that, you bring it and use that same pressure or things to achieve what you achieved and the success that you got in life by working hard, by, you know, doing the things that you had to do. Now, like, you know what, it ain't, like you've been a straight A student, like almost all your life, you know. So then it got like a little tougher, but you still graduated on time.
Yeah,
you know, you didn't have to go an extra semester. You ain't had to do anything.
I remember when we talked about that. You was like, "Yo, if you going to do an extra semester," and I was like, "Nah, I'm about to get up out of here. Like, watch this." But yeah, I think that goes back to the principles you taught me through basketball. You know, I guess the principles as a father that you taught me, but you used basketball to teach me a lot of those things. So, speaking about, you know, fatherhood again, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
You know, I love you to death. You know, ride or die. You bailed me out of a lot of situations when I would have gotten in trouble with my mom. But so what was it like for you raising, you know, I was your firstborn, but when you knew you was going to have a son? And did you ever, go ahead, I'll let you answer that first.
No, you know, like it's funny because, like I said, like, you know, I was doing a lot of wild things at a time in life before you was born. And like, you know, my grandmother told me years ago, she said, "Kevin, you need some responsibility." You know, and I really didn't know what she meant, or I never even paid, like I didn't even take the time to pay that any mind. But you know, when you was born, or when you was conceived, or whatever we're going to say.
Yeah, Memorial Day in Wildwood.
It made me, it changed me. And you know, like I said, that life, I wanted to give up because like my father wasn't in my life, and I gotta say, I love my father, and it seems crazy because I say some things like that, but my father not being in my life made me want to be in your life, you know, and like, you know, being around with you was just so great, you know, having a son and spending time with you and doing things with you and doing the things, so it took me away from like all the other stuff, you know, and you know, it was just like, I can't tell you, and look at what it done and the success, like I said, that you had. So it was a pleasure, and it's still a pleasure for me, man, to have you, you know, as a son, man. Like, you know, and I just thank God, man, for you, man. Like, you know, it's just been like a blessing. And, you know, I definitely got to give a shout out to your mom, man, you know, for the job that she done, man. Like, you know, she always held the fort down, man, you know, and, you know, and like, you know, even the support she gave me. So, I mean, like, I'm grateful. It ain't nothing, you know what? It's like we say, a team thing too, you know. But like, yeah, like my other kid, it's just a blessing to just be a father, man. And now to know how it feels and how important it is to be in kids' life. That's the main thing. How important that like it is to be like today. Like I know because I didn't have a father in my life, and I know by being in your life. And the other kids, like, the difference that it does make.
You broke a cycle there.
Yeah.
We don't know if your dad's dad was in his life, or you might know.
No, I don't know.
But, see, that could have even been a cycle there that was broken.
Right.
Which, you know, I think one thing that I learned from being in, you know, MGD, that's the mentoring, or, you know, kind of like the... I call it like the mentoring program that I was in high school, was that you start to see trends among people who maybe have a parent absent, right? So when you look at certain men that don't have a strong male present, and women or young ladies who don't have a strong male present, you start to see similar characteristics. So when you stick around, you really start to see the difference, and I see it a lot with Brianna. You know, I think that, I don't know, whatever you do as a dad when they're oftentimes present, it goes a long way, because you just look at the way she carries herself. She's not really into any nonsense. You don't got to worry about her and boys going boy crazy. Like, she's just very, like, she knows what she wants to do. She's very focused on school, and just kind of being her. And, you know, I see a lot of kids just kind of get caught up, and I see the trends again when I'm coaching my players. You know, even their interactions with young women, it's just like why do you think that's okay? Or, like, she's okay with that? So I think that you definitely help your daughters know their worth. And it's funny because I remember Bree was telling me about the time when you talked to her about boys. She's like, yeah, you know, we were just driving, because you know Bree be talking. Yeah, we were driving, and then he just like pulled the car over, and I was like, what? And yeah, that's a funny story. So we probably have to bring her on the story, because it'd be interesting to hear what her perspective is like too. But no, I think you've done a great job even through, you know, the highs and lows. But I think that's something that a lot of guys don't realize, especially younger guys in this generation. They just don't realize the importance of just being present, doing the best you can, and trying to keep your kids on the right direction, on the right path. And you were telling me about the one guy, and he was in prison, and he was talking about how when he get out, he got to get back in the streets so that he can make money so his kid can eat. And you remember what you said to him?
Oh yeah, I used to tell all of them, is your kid eating now? You know, like, it's funny what some of them say, and like, you know, they say, well, I got to do this, or I got to get out and do that, and I can't work this job because like it ain't this, and I got to take care of my kids, and if I can't do that. So most of the time, like what I always say, and this is what I used to say to them, if you think that's going to happen, it's going to happen, because that's what you want to happen. That's what you want, that excuse to go back out there and do that.
It's nothing but an excuse.
Yeah.
What's your quote about excuses?
Excuses is a symptom of failure.
Yep, because that's what they end up doing. They get trapped in the cycle, and it's all because they're making an excuse.
I learned that in
yep,
your school.
I know exactly where that quote is, too.
Yeah, I learned that walking to your basketball game, you know, and it's just something that stuck, and something that even helped me, you know. One thing like I like to say, too, is, you know, and what we got to realize, the important is, I could call myself being in your life, but if I'm doing all these I could be spending time with you, but if I'm showing you negative things, then I'm still not helping you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, some people, like, you know what, my father was this, my father was that, and that's where I didn't want to show you that. You know, like, I can't tell you something and be doing something the other way.
And you saw generations in jail, right? You
Right.
saw like dad, son, that they did
I
the same
seen
thing.
grandfather, father, and son. I seen one time they all locked up together, 3 generations.
Cycle.
3 generations. And like, you know what? And like I also seen it in jail where father and son was in there and they ain't even like each other.
I couldn't even imagine what that. I can't even imagine what that'd be like.
But you know, like I just say, you know, it's something. But you know, like I just say, the love that y'all have for me, you know, helped change me, helped make me.
Going back to your boy that was in there that you know, thought he had to get back out there just to feed his kids. I think a lot of times people don't realize what people go through at home, like outside of the prison. Like I can recall, like one of the first time I went to visit you through the class, and towards the end, like I was kind of okay in the beginning, you know, but at the end I broke down in tears, and like I was crying like I was 2, right? Because it's a very difficult situation, and I don't know if, you know, guys always think about that when they're behind bars or what, but it's just like, yeah, you're doing a lot of damage to, like, there's an emotional toll that it definitely takes a toll on the person in prison, right? But it takes a toll on the people that are out, because they leave there and they're going through it. Like, I know times when, you know, we only get like, what, 10, 15 minutes on the phone? Right, that one place?
Yeah.
There was times where I would hang up the phone and I would start crying just because it's like it's not enough time.
You know, I think like it's harder on y'all. I think it's harder on the people that love somebody, because see, you gotta remember, when we're in jail, our mindset is already messed up. You know, like, you know, for us to be there, we kind of messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So our whole attitude is different, and we don't feel the pain. We might not, but like we could say that we miss y'all or we don't be there, but you know what? We don't realize the pain that we cause anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, like a long time ago, somebody pinched me, and they told me, and I'd be like, ouch, and they just be looking at me like, what? Ain't never happened. See, I can't feel the pain that I caused you. Mm-hmm. I can't really see that unless I'm paying attention. But if I'm not focused, like, you know what? I know, like, I didn't know how bad Brianna was hurting until her mother or somebody said that they took her to a psychiatrist. Man, now, like, I love y'all, so now I'm starting to feel what I done to y'all. I'm starting to see, when I heard the time you had to call, when you brung up there, you had to call her mother to calm her down. Mm-hmm. You know, here you go, like you going through something. So like, you know, like Kiara, when she come and you know, cry. So now I'm starting to feel the pain. Now, like, I really care. Now, I don't know, I can't say how much somebody else care. Some other people, like, you know what, they'll go play cards and don't think about nothing. Or think that you supposed to do all this for them and all like that. They act like they the ones that, you know, people should be caring about, when you really need to start caring about what somebody else
when
doing.
it's your decisions that got us all in this. And it's like, I think for me, one of the hardest things for me is that, you know, when you have your support system, right? Like, you're probably, if I needed someone to talk to, like, yeah, I always shout out to my mom, because she always gives good feedback. And I think during your time away, it made me lean on her more and realize that, you know, she does understand. Like, we had a great understanding, because when I was younger, we kind of butted heads a little bit because we think differently. Like, I think we think more similarly than I do with my mom. So at times there was a collision course, but there were just times when, like, I needed someone to talk to. And I remember it was probably sophomore year, spring semester. And, you know, in Warren, everybody wants to get a big internship, right? And I'm learning how to, you know, kind of manage my way through that, finding internships. And I thought I was going to have one. And I actually got an offer, but then my boy Lonnie was like, yeah, people at Career Services said, watch out for them. They think that might be a scam. So at that moment, I was just like, yo, these classes are hard. This internship fell through. I just felt like the world was over. And I remember just going and wanting to call, and I couldn't. And I just had to, tears came again, just because you don't know what to do. You're hurt. You're like broken. So I just had to pray outside the church for like an hour. Because Devin was at choir concert. I think I text my mom a little bit, but I just remember like having, like, almost feeling somewhat alone just because the person that I knew I can call you and you're gonna say the right thing somehow. Like, you just always know, like, and it's not even, you don't sugarcoat things with me. You don't try to always make me feel, no, you just be like, yo, this is life. This is how it is. And it's just like, you put it in a way that I'm like, you're right. In that moment, you probably would have given me, I don't know what, but just something like, yo, it's going to be all right. You're going to bounce back. Maybe that one isn't the one for you. You just got to keep looking. Just like when the jump shot not falling, you keep shooting, you keep looking and applying. And eventually something going to come. And you know, I had to be patient, waited a year. Then I got my internship at Wells, and now I'm there full time, doing well, and it all worked out. But it's just like in those moments, and it made me think too, you know, just when I go there and I see all those guys there and I see their kids there, I'm just like, yo, if I know what me and my sisters are going through, I can only imagine how many of these kids, because they're there, and like, you're happy when you're there, but you can also see like the face when they know like daddy's not coming home.
Yeah, believe me, you know, and that's what touched me. You know, that what made me, and that what makes me not go out here and do anything crazy, or I didn't think about doing anything crazy, because the same thing that you're saying, I remember Brianna telling me, I just can't pick up the phone and call you. Like one day, because I asked her why was she acting, she said, Daddy, I just can't pick up the phone and call you.
It's hard.
Kiara, you know what, I remember talking to Brianna times, and I said to Brianna, she said, yeah, I called Kiara and talked to Kiara. I said, you hold a conversation with Kiara? Kiara would get off the phone with me. And then, like, Kiara would always break down. And then, like, after a while, she said, Daddy, I just can't talk to you. And, like, I had to understand that. And, like, you know, that hurt it. You know, but, like, you know, like, the fact, but see, like, the way that I looked at it is what I put y'all through, not about what I'm going through. Because I'm getting through what I got to get through. It was the pain that I caused y'all, that I don't want to cause y'all pain. You know, so they the things that I got to remember, all the painful things now that I put y'all through. You know, and like, you know, and like now I just need to be there for y'all. Like, I got a 3-year-old, I got a 3-year-old, you know, I got a 9-year-old. They need me, you know.
And it's, you know, I guess just to give a backstory, because I don't know if we ever mention this. In total, I have 4 sisters. On my mom's side, I have me and my older sister. Shout out to Tiff, she's like the second mom. On my dad's side, I have 3 younger sisters, and they all like tease me because I get the ages a little off. Well, me and Bree cool. We 5 years apart. That's easy. So Bree actually turning 19 on Father's Day. Happy birthday, Bree. Love you. Then I have Kiara, who you just said it, so I'm gonna get these right. She's 9, and I have Kyle, who's 3. And so, you know, you were always like the glue. Like, we always necessarily didn't call each other. Although, oh yeah, the other thing is, I don't have half sisters. All my sisters, they my sisters. Like, but you always been kind of the glue in keeping us together. And so, you know, when you kind of got locked up, next thing you know, Kiki and Kaya are now they relocated there in South Carolina. Me and Bree don't see each other as frequently, but once I kind of started driving, I'm kind of linking up to come see you. We would see each other more frequently and kind of hanging out and really bonding that way, which was cool because, you know, I definitely learned now that Bree's older, and I guess when you first got locked up, you probably were like, what, 16? Like
15.
15. Yeah, so she started getting older. We were able to have more conversations, right? Because, you know, one, I'm not super uncomfortable asking certain questions, and, you know, she's willing to share, and we had that open form of communication.
You uncomfortable asking my questions?
At certain times, like, because you don't want to be that big brother that's like I don't want to, you know, you have certain siblings that are super overbearing to the point where they don't want to tell you anything.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't never want to, like, I always want her to be comfortable. Like, if she needed to come to me, she could. And I think she can, because she'll ask me questions at times. It could be about anything. It could be about school, whatever. She just knows, like, my brother's not going to judge me. He's just going to give me the best answer that he can, or at least I hope that's what she
But see, you got to remember, she's not doing too much where she can't answer, or, you know, she's not sticking around doing things, you know, because like what you said about her earlier. So it's not hard for her to come to you, and you know, and not hard for you to go to her.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. You know, and that's one thing that we always try to say. Oh, I always try to tell y'all to be honest. You know that's the most important thing to be up there. It ain't all the time if you do something you're gonna get in trouble. You know, not with me at least. As long as you come to me now, you know, like that. You know, I'll try to bear with you and something like that. But you know, sneaking in line, that's another thing.
Yeah, you're gonna start going down a bad road, but
now you're starting to insult my intelligence. You know, like,
don't want to do that.
Like that, man.
Don't want to do that. We gotta probably get ready to get out of here, but you know, as usual, I'm gonna ask you what's your final word of today, or not single word, but something you want to leave the people with.
You know, something I want to leave the people with is like what we're talking about. Like, it ain't only about being a father. It's about being a positive role model for someone. You know, whoever it is a cousin, a friend, a niece, a nephew, whatever it is, you know, just try to be there and just help somebody, you know. Just try to reach one.
Yep, and that's a huge reason of why we wanted to start this show. Like, I have my nephew who I keep trying to challenge myself to do more, because it's hard when you got a lot going on, but I try to be a father to him.
Right.
His father, passed away some years ago. So there's a lot of people out there who, unfortunately don't have that male role model in their life. And so if you want to hear that perspective, that's part of the reason we have the show. So definitely, if you have questions, if you want to hear us talk about certain things, email us. You know our email address? No?
Yeah.
Man, you gotta get on this. But email us at NoStoppingKev@gmail.com. Definitely share any questions you have, any comments about the show, any things you didn't like, because always open door for conversation. We can all grow from conversations. So definitely reach out to us there. Also DM us. We're on Instagram. Personal page is NoStoppingKev @NoStoppingKev, and the podcast's page is @NoStoppingKev Show on Instagram. And then we also have the Facebook. Just search NoStoppingKev Show. Remember, NoStoppingKev is all one word. That's a mouthful, so I just ran through it. But yeah, I think that definitely guys, girls, if you're trying to have an impact on somebody, or there's people that are looking up to you, try to do the right thing. Try not to expose them to the negative side, and hopefully that will pull you away from some of the negative things that you're involved in. Because one, you put yourself at risk, you put them at risk, and if they look up to you that much, and you have to go away for some time, it's gonna take an emotional toll. Really have some adverse effects there. So definitely, try to be present and try to expose them to things that's going to ultimately help them be better. And I think just as you always wanted me to be better than you. That was your thing. I would be like, yo, Dad, I want to be like you when I grow up. And you're like, no. What would you say?
Don, you're going to be better than me. And you're definitely better than me.
Yeah, people about to try to kick us out of here. It is 7. But we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Podbean, Stitcher. And on Podbean, we're at NoStoppingKev.podbean.com. Apple Music, just search us. We're available, but remember, new episodes every Sunday. And we might even drop a couple bonus ones during the week. Who knows? Just be on the lookout. But everybody, we're out of here. You want to sign off?
Peace.
See y'all.